Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we are giving my CDL predictions for the Super Week. And so obviously you guys may have seen my Week 2 predictions. Eventually I'm going to take that video down, just not right now. Obviously you could say, well, are you going to keep your predictions the same? Well, the double points is a little bit different, so I will be doing it a little bit differently. But let's get right into it. Week 1 we have, or not week 1, but Monday the 22nd, we have Florida versus LAG. I think Florida bounces back, similar to what I think previously, but I think Florida bounces back. They 3-0 LAG. I definitely can see a 3-1, but I just believe Florida's going to bounce back and they're going to do it. Now we've got Faze versus Ultra. Now this match was actually later, supposed to be later in that week too, but it's the second game in this Monday of this Super Week. I think Faze wins, and I think that unlike what I had predicted before, which was a 3-2, I think this is going to be a 3-1. Now, the reason I say that is because Ultra doesn't have the momentum they had built up when they had played OpTic Chicago in my first kind of week 1 prediction. But 3-1 Faze, I think they will, slip up on one of the modes, because again, that was the problem last year with Faze, is they had some tough times just winning consistently all the time in all 3 game modes. So in like hard points, they were a very break heavy team. So if they weren't getting the setups, they have to break every hill, and that can become problematic. Let's get into Tuesday's first match, Tuesday the 23rd. We've got 3 matches: Florida Mutineers, Paris Legion. I'm going to go with a 3-0. Now, I believe I went with a 3-1 earlier, but I think Florida is just going to dominate. I definitely can see a 3-1 from either of these two teams from LAG, but I believe Florida is going to control this series. I think especially if Skies, again, plays up to what we've seen Skies play before, I think he could be very successful. Our second match of this home series, we've got the London Royal Ravens taking on the New York Subliners Tuesday. And so, again, very similar to what I had predicted before. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Subliners. I think Subliners looked pretty decent against Thieves. I think London, they didn't look amazing from Surge, but I haven't seen enough to really know a ton about London. And again, I kind of wish there was the week 2, obviously, with what happened in Texas and whatnot. A lot of teams are playing from Texas, so they have no power, or there's rolling power. Anyways, obviously you don't want to play, so they postponed it to a Super Week. I wish I could have saw more out of London, though, so I got to go with a 3-1. Røkkr versus Surge. Now, this is interesting. Surge looks like the same team, a similar type team. They look like an improved search and destroy team. They look pretty good in control. Hardpoint, they look like the same hardpoint team. They just don't look that good at hardpoint. And I think that's where it really comes down. And I think Røkkr, they're going to get a hard point. They're going to win the search. I think Seattle wins the control, but Røkkr takes another hard point. I think it's going to be, it could definitely be a 3-2, but I do think Røkkr, if they win one respawn, they'll win the series. Obviously, Surge did look pretty solid in S&D, but the one thing that frightens me is how consistent can a player like Octane do well in Surge, because he's had some really good search and destroy games, and he's also had a lot of dud search and destroy games. I think he had a dud against Empire. So that is my question for Surge. Can they play search and destroy well, and can Octane do it? And I love Octane. I love his content. But let's get into Wednesday's first match. Dallas Empire, London Royal Ravens. 3-0. I mean, do I really have to speak? Dallas is the best team. London's look like one of the worst teams. Yeah, okay. Second game that day, LA Thieves Surge. I think this is going to be a 3-1. It's going to be a lot closer than people expect. I believe I said it was going to be a 3-2 when I first made this, but I'm still not sure. I don't know if Thieves really played as well as some people said they did. I mean, they played fairly well, but they played in a lot of close games against Subliners. Obviously, they had that really good Moscow hardpoint against Røkkr, and they won all 3 respawns. But my question is search and destroy. How are they going to do? Are they going to be a similar kind of really good respawn team, but their surge lacks? OpTic Chicago and Toronto Ultra, I think this is another 3-1. No hate on Ultra. I think Ultra's a really good team, but I don't think they're going to play well enough to win all 3 respawns. I do believe they will take the Surge. And, bold prediction, if this game was to go to a Game 5, I'd probably bet on Ultra to win. And obviously, this narrative of OpTic Chicago's bad at S&D, yeah, I mean, you could say that. And I think OpTic Chicago will win a good amount of S&Ds, and obviously they've probably been practicing and stuff. I just think Ultra's a really good team, and I think they'll be able to take the S&D. They've got a lot of players who are good at S&D. But let's get on to Thursday. Røkkr versus Subliners. We've got the Minnesota Røkkr, New York Subliners. Now, I originally said 3-2 in that video. Then I was like, well, 3-1 Subliners. I think I'm going to go with the safe bet and go, 3-2 Røkkr. I think it will definitely be a good series. This will be, a fun series to see. And obviously you could see, I've predicted a lot of 3-1s, 3-2s. I don't think a lot of these early games will be that close. Then we have OpTic Chicago taking on LAG. I think Chicago's too much to handle for LAG. Obviously, I could definitely see LAG winning the S&D because, again, OpTic Chicago isn't the strongest team in search. But, again, I still think OpTic Chicago, no matter what, wins this series. Now, obviously, Faze didn't look, or not Faze, but Florida didn't look good against Toronto Ultra. I think Florida steps it up. And I want to be honest, I'm very biased to Florida. Why? I root for Florida. That's the exact reason. And I'm going to go with an upset 3-2. I think Faze looked solid against OpTic Chicago, but I don't know. I just feel like Florida is going to come back and show people they want to come out with a bang, and they want to show people that the preseason wasn't just one lucky match. Obviously, servers and vetoes can obviously play a big part. I mean, let's say vetoes and servers go in favor of Surge, however, and Surge takes that S&D, they take a couple of respawns, Surge can create an upset, There's a lot of potential. Next, we're going to go on Friday's first matchup, LA Thieves versus London Royal Ravens. From what I've seen about London, again, I've only seen them play one game. I got to go 3-0 Thieves. I just don't think they're that good. I think they could win the search against the Thieves, but I think it's going to be a 3-0. Ultra versus Paris. I'm going to give it a 3-1 because I don't want to say too many 3-0s, but I think Ultra will definitely win this pretty easily, kind of handedly, they'll have a good series. Next, we've got the Dallas Empire versus the New York Subliners. Clayster's revenge. Obviously, we saw the original OG map in the Classic. I think this will be a 3-1 Empire. I'm saying a lot of 3-1s, 3-0s, not a ton of 3-2s, and that doesn't continue here because I think Empire is just really good and they're going to be a lot better than Subliners at this point in Subliners game. I just think Subliners do have room to improve, and I think they can make that improvements. But let's go into Faze Paris. Obviously, this is a little bit long of a video, but it is a super week, 2 weeks combined. And hopefully, if you guys do enjoy, leave a like, subscribe. We're going to go with a 3-0 Faze. Again, from what I've seen, Paris, I thought they were a pretty good team looking at what they had done against OpTic. Even though it was a 3-0, they showed signs. And then they didn't really look good against LAG. Yes, it was a 3-2, but it didn't give me that, oh yeah, I like this. But, we've got the second game Saturday, Røkkr versus London. I think London will pick up a respawn, but I think Røkkr will win the series 3-1. And then we've got the second sets of games Saturday, or the last set between Toronto Ultra and LAG. I'm going to give LAG a map, but I think it's going to be 3-1 Toronto Ultra. I think Ultras looked really good, and I think they're going to continue what they're doing, and I think they're going to definitely beat these two bottom teams. Now the question comes, can they beat OpTic? Can they beat Faze? I think they can. I just don't think they will. Again, those are two different things. Surge, Subliners. I'm going to go with a game 5 here. Game on the line. I think Surge will actually come up on top. I'm so used to picking against Surge. I'm so used to, talking bad about Surge, but I think they pull it off. Then we've got Florida versus OpTic. 3-0 Florida. Easy. No. I think we get another game 5. I think it's going to be spicy. I'm going to be honest. I think it'll be a 3-1 OpTic Chicago. They win the respawns. Florida takes the Surge. But I believe if Florida takes respawns, whether they take 2 or they take 1, if they get it to a game 5, I think Florida has what they need in, Awakening, Neptune, and Search to win a game 5 against OpTic Chicago. Then, last game Sunday, we've got some pretty good games Sunday. Dallas Empire, LA Thieves. What's going to happen? Oh my god, it's a game 5. Crib 6 wins. Empire wins this. I think Empire's the better team. I think Thieves looked alright, but I don't think they have enough to win it. But these are my predictions. Leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Later.